Hey guys, it's Chris with Better Editor, and today we are jumping back into our short series looking at automation blocks from our friends at Mamoworld. They've developed an amazing plugin that automates repetitive tasks and gives you basically limitless possibilities inside of Premiere Pro. Today specifically, I want to look at creating cue sheets and shot logs, things editors absolutely hate, but if you gotta do them, you might as well do them fast. Now, you can see I've got a really simple sequence right here. It's just a string out of clips of a car commercial. What we want to do is to first create a shot log for these clips. So to do that quickly, I'm going to open up extensions and go to automation blocks. Now here we have a custom user library. This is something that where you store all of the automations that you make yourself. In the shot logs folder that I created, I have a create shot log CSV automation. And this is something that Mateus from Mamoworld helped to design, and then I tweaked it to my own specifications. So hopefully this is very useful for you. What we're going to do is you can first choose what type of log media you want to do. Are we doing video and audio, just audio? Audio obviously is going to be very helpful for music cue sheets. Let's just start with video and audio. In this sequence, it doesn't matter because there is no audio. But to show you how it works, I'm going to select the shot numbering sequence that I have down here. I'm going to select create shot log inside automation blocks and hit run. When I do that, it'll take a minute and it tells me it's done. And what it has done is it has pulled up a shotlog.csv file onto my desktop. If you're unfamiliar, a CSV file can be opened up inside any typical spreadsheet program. Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, Apple Numbers, you name it. Now, by default, it's going to sort all of the clips by the video track or the track number. And once you jump into your spreadsheet application, you can sort it by the sequence in, sequence out, clip in, duration, whatever you need. Now, let's see what it does on a bigger sequence. So jumping back into Premiere, let's look at something a little more complex. So this is a brand film that was cut for FedEx earlier this year, and as you can see, there are a lot more clips going on. Now, this is a mess and needs to be cleaned up. So the first thing I would suggest doing when you're looking at a sequence like this is you need to prep it and clean it. If you don't know how to do that, check out my Advanced Workflows course that's free on YouTube. I've already done that process and simplified that sequence. So as you can see, it's much cleaner and much easier to read. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is jump back over to my desktop and I'm going to delete the shot log, because what's going to happen is automation blocks will simply add those clips to the bottom of this spreadsheet, which is not going to be helpful. So let's get rid of this, jump back into Premiere. Inside of Premiere, I'm going to go to this sequence, select create shot log CSV and run. So this one's going to take a little bit longer only because we obviously have much more clips. But it beats the alternative of having to spit out EDLs, having to clean up the sequence even further than this, and doing individual exports. It just becomes a whole mess when you're making these shot logs. Anybody who's done it knows. All right, we're done. So now we can look at what we have. So look at our shot log CSV. This time I'll open it up in numbers. So we're going to open with, boom. Okay, and let's spread this out so we can look at it. So as you can see, we have everything that was inside of that sequence, all separated by video track number, audio track number, everything. It also gives you the file path of where the footage, where the audio is held, duration, sequence, in, out, clip, in, out, media type. It's everything you could possibly want, except when your client or your boss asks you to have individual thumbnails for each of these clips. So let's do that. I'm going to quit out of numbers and come back into our sequence. And inside this shot logs folder that I have, and just to show you, I'm going to open up that file. So if I go to where I keep my Mamoworld library, I have just a simple folder in here that keeps all of my markers and shot log CSV files together. And then that translates over into automation blocks. It's very handy for keeping things organized. What I want to look at is this add markers to clip, mid, and start. And so these two automation blocks do the exact same thing, except one adds a marker at the start of a clip and one adds it to the middle of a clip. I'm going to run with middle of a clip. So let's take this and then hit run and see what happens. So as you can see, automation blocks is building out a marker for each one of these clips. Now, you're probably curious why I want to do that. Well, the reason is I'm going to open up another extension that was developed with my group at Better Editor to help export these thumbnails. So we'll wait till it's done and we're good to move on. Now, I would be remiss for saying that you can do this inside automation blocks, but I find that it's easier to use our extension permanent markers. But before I open up permanent markers, I want to show you one other thing. Let's go to Window and let's look at the markers panel. So if we look at that, we can see that all of these markers also have custom names. So it's labeled with the timecode followed by the clip name. This is going to be very important when we're dropping these into a CSV file, into a spreadsheet. Okay, so let's close this. So close panel, and we'll go to Window, Open Extensions, and we'll look up permanent markers. Now, in permanent markers, I'm going to set this to be a PNG. We'll make the resolution, let's make it a quarter. And I'm going to make sure that marker name is selected so that it exports the marker name that Automation Blocks created with all these markers. Let's find our export location. We'll go here. Great. And say export. So now permanent markers is going to go through our entire sequence and export a thumbnail for each one of these marker locations. Great, so we're done. I'm going to close permanent markers and let's look at Finder. So inside Finder, we can go to our exports, and these are all of our thumbnails organized by their time code. So they are in the same order as our spreadsheet, if we open that up. And if we sort this by our sequence endpoint, now our thumbnails match the exact same order as our clip names. From this point, you can drop in your clip thumbnails automatically, and there's ways to do that online, but I'll link to those in the description. Okay, let's close numbers and delete our CSV file off the desktop. And jump back into Premiere, and I'm going to show you how to do a music cue sheet. Any editor that has had to create a music cue sheet knows how tedious and painful these things are. Now we are going to make your life simpler. To do that, we're going to grab our prep sequence again, and we're going to go back to our Export-Shot-Log-CSV. Now in here, instead of doing video and audio, we're going to do audio only. This keeps us from having to go through our entire sequence and make a new one that's only audio. We can use just one sequence, and it simplifies the whole process. So same thing, we're going to go up to Run and click it. Now we go back to our CSV file. Shot-Log-CSV is only referencing audio tracks. It's showing us again where everything is according to file path, as well as the duration used, the sequence in, the sequence out, the clip in, the clip out. This is everything that you would need, minus maybe author information, for a music cue sheet. Super simple stuff. All right, I hope you can see that Automation Blocks can save you a ton of time when you're working with shot logs and music cue sheets. And it is such a powerful plugin. I hope you'll check it out at aescripts.com, linked in the description below. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and hit that like button. Also, be sure to circle back to see our last installment on this short series with Automation Blocks.